Hi, first a content warning as the images I'm about to share with you include both hate speech and violence directed generally at 2S LGBTQ plus people and at trans people in particular. Now, while much of this imagery has already been shared widely on social media and on news media, I've taken steps to obscure the faces of children involved. First, we have this image. It's a screen grab from a cell phone video taken at the Moncton, New Brunswick protest on September 20th. In this particular image, there has been a confrontation between protesters for the Million March and counter-protesters advocating for trans rights. You'll notice that I've blurred the faces of the children. In the video clip, these children are seen running at a counter-protester who is carrying a trans pride flag. There are moments when they attempt to stomp on the flag. There appear to be two adults and an older minor child in the company of these children. The adults clearly are laughing and encouraging the behavior. It culminates with the youngster on the left giving two middle fingers and yelling "F you," while the other child gives a thumbs down. Here's a video clip of the same episode. It's quite brief because I don't have the means to blur the faces of the children. What I've chosen to do instead is use a number of filters to obscure them so you can just generally see the action and what is taking place. On to Calgary now. A local protest organizer for the Million March encourages a child to speak on the stage. Once again, the content is very disturbing.
Just impose them and tell them what we want them to be. We listen to them, they tell us what they want to be, not whatever those guys accuse us of. What do you like to say?
I'd like to say that the gays are psychopaths and we're not psychopaths.
No, that's not true.
One more thing to say.
No, that's not good.
The gays, they are disgusting.
What's that mean?
And most alarming of all to me is this clip, which does not take place at the protest or the counter-protest. It's from 1 week before in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, outside middle school.
A middle school student is speaking out tonight after a violent incident outside her school that was caught on camera. Here's CTV's Ryan McDonald.
It's a video that's difficult to watch, and for 11-year-old
Supporters of the counter-protest in sharing these images have correctly pointed out that there is a great deal of indoctrination taking place on the side of the protest, which professes to be against indoctrination and grooming. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt that these children have seen and heard things that encourage this behavior. And in the case of the instances in Moncton and Calgary, it's very clear that the children are being egged on. They're being rewarded for this behavior. And in sharing this, I'm not advocating for some kind of harsh, draconian penalties against these children. I'm genuinely concerned about their welfare. I wonder what happens when those kids go back to their schools, whether they attend public schools or private or independent religious schools, what they think is okay behavior. Do they now have license to lash out at other children or families who they perceive as coloring outside conventional lines of gender and sexuality? This is a really serious problem. A price is being paid, and it is being paid by the children who are being coached or encouraged or rewarded for perpetuating this hate. Let's talk about also this minor child in Nova Scotia who quite obviously is viciously attacking a student who is transgender. It's a horrifying cowardly assault on a person. And I'm sure all kinds of people are second guessing this. Well, maybe this, maybe that, maybe the third thing. The reality is that this little girl who is transgender and who is a member of a community that experiences violence at a much higher tempo than other women and girls is the victim of an assault. And there's no disentangling her gender identity from what has happened to her. This is absolutely horrifying. And what is even more disturbing is that this child's family is now contemplating leaving school and opting for homeschooling. And this seems completely backwards.